pre-owned sweaters. We're going to sort in the hundreds column, sort Z to A, and we're going to go for under 40% sell-through. We're looking for volume. Peruvian connection. You do find Peruvian connection fairly often. That is a 17% sell-through rate, so we're going to look for anything in there that is selling for more than 100% sell-through. All right, let's talk about habits as far as researching. A lot of people will consider themselves as a reseller, but they will not have a habit of actually doing research, except maybe on the spot when you're looking at stuff in the store. You really should have an actual habit to do research as just part of your day. Honestly, you could take 30 minutes and learn maybe 2 bolos. Just using a spreadsheet, or maybe just using eBay itself if you chose to do that. I want you to write a spreadsheet because I think it's the best option, but you can make your own choice. What's more important is just the habit itself. The habit itself is probably the most important part, to just do research. All right, we got 109 solds and 704 listed. I'll go back to that. All right. So we got 109 solds. Get back to see all. All right. Let's go to material. This is almost definitely going to be alpaca. These are usually blends, so it may not actually change much. Let's do pattern. What's selling really well in patterns? Floral and geometric. There's no solids, no stripes. We'll call floral and geometric. That ends up being, what is that? 50, it's like, yeah, it's 68. Let's get rid of solds and completed items. And that is a pretty low sell-through rate. All right. Peruvian connection is pretty specific. It's going to be alpaca stuff. They make mostly sweaters and cardigans. So let's try and go for type. Sleeve length will probably also be important. All right, long sleeves. It seems like some vests do sell. Let's check long. Actually, let's check sleeveless first. Honestly, some of the stuff that does have a little bit of volume and might just be more rare does end up being the thing that sells for 100% a lot of times, but not always. So it was 11 solds and 54 listed, so it's not vests. Style might be type we need to find. Cardigan. It would be the cardigans. And we got 84 solds in cardigans. And 468. We're still under 20% sell-through. That is not good enough. I don't really want to mess with size too much, but not size, price. I don't want to mess with price too much. I want to try and keep that one of the last things we ever change. Lightweight. These are just features, accents. Embroideries might be important. It doesn't seem like it. Only 5 sold. Type. It does seem to be that way. We did, all right. We did both of these at the same time. If we check this again and it's also really bad, we may end up finding out that floral is actually better. But if it ends up being about the same for both, don't worry about it. 29 solds, 120 listed. Let's go back to pattern. So it wasn't geometric. Let's try floral instead. 39 solds, 218 listed. All right, I think we're gonna have to touch the price brackets. I don't want to do that too much. Let's just start with price cap. We'll start with a price cap. Let's get rid of a few of our filters. Just get rid of floral. So 704 listed. Let's put a price cap on this. Let's say a price cap at 200. There are people out there trying to get a lot of money for this stuff. Some of it does sell for that, but it just takes a long time. You can't really depend on it. All right, 506 listed. $85 sold. Not quite good enough. We're gonna have to drop. Let's drop that price ceiling. Let's put that at 150, and let's change this one to 80. $131 sold, 664 listed. This one's fighting us a little bit. All right. Let's put that price cap. So I've not been able to find anything that's selling by itself for 100% or more. So we're going to change our price metrics. We're going to go down to 1600 and see if we can find anything that is still worth good money at a higher sell-through. Sell-through doesn't matter quite as much when you find stuff that really is worth $150, but you actually just need a lot of them. You need a lot of stuff that's worth more than $100 if it has a slow sell-through, because it just takes that long to sell. You do eventually start to sell them, and it's a great payday when it really happens, but you're stuck with the fact that it actually is an investment. You might buy something that's worth $150, but it costs you 50 bucks. It costs you 20 bucks. That might just be too much. If you buy only those, you need that money back. You're essentially using up your principal and letting it sit there somewhere. And it may be a pretty good investment. I got 872 listed in a second. But you're stuck holding something, a physical object that you have to take care of. And that person may simply return it because it didn't fit them. All right, we got 189 solds. I think we may be stuck with the fact that this is simply not as popular of a brand. It does have good sales, but they are fewer and farther between. I'm even not seeing a simple like general style of what does sell. They're all the Proven Connection is all about geometric and just kind of floral stuff, but it's not selling as well. So call this a learning lesson. It does have good sales, but you should not spend up on this. If you have extra room in your place, wherever you're doing reselling, You could pick up one of these, but you don't want to spend the good money. Spend $5, spend $10 maybe on something that you're pretty sure will sell eventually for $100. Uh, Otherwise, steer clear of this one, unless you're willing to just honestly sit on the item. An item that is worth $100 and just takes a year to sell still does sell for $100. All right, thank you.